I call this workshop meeting to order at 4:03, December 9th, 2024. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Good afternoon. And just about the ground rules, we welcome everyone's input this evening. When speaking, step up to the lectern, state your name and your address. Will be to the supervisor. Actually, for the workshop, it will be to the board. It's a little bit informal. In fact, if there's no board objections, starting in January, we'll be stepping down from the dais, so we can have more of an interaction with the public, and not be so formal up here. The meetings are recorded and broadcast online, so please use your mic and for clearer audio. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak when they give the public setting. For the presentations, we set the time, so you present the information, and the presentations are for the board to understand, for the public information, and to inform us of some event that's happening or some situation that takes place. And with that, Madam Clerk, can you please read the roll?
Supervisor Evans.
Here.
Councilwoman Cunningham.
Here.
Councilman Malone.
Present.
Councilman Perticone.
Here.
Councilman Weiner.
Here.
Attorney for the town.
Present. Okay, we have a lot of work to do, so I'm going to be real short. We continue moving in the positive direction, as you hear later on. Thanks to the hard work of the department heads and the staff, we should finish the year below budget, which is a great thing. And as a result of the conservative view that we've taken and the hard work that our staff has done, we actually got the A1 rating from Moody's Ratings, which is the highest rating that is allowed for a town our size and at our income level. So that's very good news, and I want to thank the staff, and I want to thank all the town employees for their commitment to making our town better. Next week, the board, what I would like to do is celebrate the success of the members of our town. So I'm asking for your help. If you know of a school, team, or an individual that has accomplished something, for example, Eagle Scout or the Girl Scout equivalent, the Girl Scout Gold Award, please let's bring those people in next week and let's recognize them and celebrate their success as we come to the end of the year. We have a presentation from the Brookview Neighborhood Association. You may. And while he comes for that last point, if any audience member knows of someone who had a great success or should be celebrated by the town, please email supervisor@irondequoit.gov. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name's Anthony Minervino. I live at 1341 Stanton Lane in the Brookview neighborhood. I'm in the process of starting up a neighborhood association for our quite large neighborhood, which is loosely bounded by 4 major roads: East Ridge Road, Titus, Portland, and Hudson. I would estimate it probably incorporates 600, 800 people. That's just an estimate. One of the larger neighborhoods for sure in the Irondequoit area. My purpose in wanting to spearhead the start of this neighborhood association is really about creating some connectivity within the community, the sub-community of Irondequoit, and really increase its vibrancy. You know, whether it's issues that are important to the neighborhood to talk about and pursue, whether it, really anything along those lines. So whether it's public safety, opportunities for socialization, increasing the beautification of the neighborhood, whatever it might happen to be. I've begun the process of connecting the neighborhood on Facebook, but it's a slow road because not everyone's on Facebook. The opportunity to even make people aware of the Emerging Neighborhoods Association's existence is difficult with just Facebook and kind of word of mouth. So one avenue that I've used to create awareness of the Emerging Neighborhood Association is on the Irondequoit Facebook page, creating some basic knowledge there about the formation of the neighborhood association. But again, if people aren't on Facebook already or are not seeing the communication that I'm putting out there, it's difficult to spread enough word about it. So my understanding is that in times past, certainly a different structure, I think, for how the town can assist the development of neighborhood associations. There has been some support lent to the beginnings of neighborhood associations in the form of support for mailings to allow the neighborhood to really become fully aware of the existence of the Emerging Neighborhood Association. So that's really what I'm here to ask and request in conjunction with the supervisor, is whether there's an opportunity to have a one-time mass mailing occur to all of the residents of the Brookview neighborhood to really allow them to become aware of this Emerging Neighborhood Association, which would be, I think, a couple of prongs of approach. One is to point them to the Facebook page if they're either already on Facebook or be interested in joining Facebook, maybe just for that sole purpose, but also to make them aware of a kickoff meeting that I'm hoping to hold sometime in January, which would really be the beginnings of the formal structure. Through the Facebook group, I've started some polling to really kind of understanding what is important to the people who have participated so far that are present on the Irondequoit, West Irondequoit, Brookview neighborhood Facebook page. But it's really, it's only about 105, 110 people so far, which is probably, 10 to 15 to 20% of the totality of who's in Brookview. So it would be extremely beneficial if the town were capable and willing to provide this one-time mailing. I believe the supervisors also suggested that we perhaps also use some flyers that are posted throughout the neighborhood as well. That would certainly be welcome as another form of support to really create awareness and allow people to participate ongoing, whether it's the Facebook page or taking part in meetings, including the kickoff, or both. So that's really kind of my effort. The neighborhood association's been around for a while, but Brookview has never had a neighborhood association. So I've started taking part in what's called the Neighborhood Association Roundtable, which is really leaders of the existing neighborhood associations that get together 2 to 4 times a year to talk about how to support ongoing the work of the existing neighborhoods, but also emerging neighborhoods such as mine. So I was able to take part in one recently, and it was really with their support that I'm approaching the town as well to really kind of revisit this notion of publicity with the town's backing.
Are you looking for a letter or a postcard?
I've actually developed a postcard already that
Okay.
I've supplied, so I'm not sure, it's probably not available tonight, but I did basically retool one that's been used for a neighborhood association initial meeting prior.
Perfect.
And so it's all ready to go if we were to go in that direction.
And Mr. Supervisor, are there funds available for this?
Yeah, I think we can use funds. There are 942 total parcels for the Brookview neighborhood. Thanks, Commissioner, for providing the information for me. So I think that for both the flyers to in-house print them and they'll distribute it, and also for the postcards, it'll be less than $1,000. So between $600 to $800. And I know that with NOLA many years ago, the town did do that initially, and
I was involved when Oak Grove started, so yes, there were town funds that were used.
right. Yeah, so I think that we can absorb this, especially even without surplus for this year. So it will be kind of a net benefit to the town and the neighborhood cohesion, and I don't think it will be a major lift.
Just so I can ask, you're planning on having a meeting in January?
It could be January,
Well,
that's the default.
Okay,
date
where
on
are
the
you
postcard.
planning on doing your
Right
meeting?
next door at the library.
At the library?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have over 100 people so far kind of showing a little interest?
Yeah, and so, clearly with any large group,
Yeah,
you have a
I know.
subset that's going to be involved and will respond and actively engage. So I'm happy to hear that you've already got the count, which is even greater than I knew as far as number, which is perfect. But yeah, so, you know, if I have 20%, I'll be thrilled. If
Yeah.
I get 20% of the total involvement to come to a meeting, that'd be excellent.
Well, it's a big undertaking, so really, thanks, you know.
Oh,
People
absolutely.
should thank you because it's not easy to do what you're doing,
No, I
that's for
appreciate
sure.
it. Yeah,
No, it's not.
Yeah,
You
it
know.
definitely, you know, I think
Well,
more
good-
of this is
yeah.
needed, though, to really
Good
knit
for you,
communities
yeah.
together and, you know,
Sure.
interact with the town and support everything that we want to support as far as initiatives go. And certainly we'll be looking for ways to support ourselves ongoing beyond this, because it's so hard in the early going before you get to a point of you know, people really being invested. But we'll come up with fundraising opportunities and things like that ongoing.
Because I do remember the other thing that we had, we put those jurisdictional flags up on the telephone poles down St.
Well,
Paul and that.
We had funds
At one
available
time.
to neighborhood associations,
Yeah.
and they could kind of choose what they wanted to do, and a
Yeah.
lot of them went with the,
Went
Right,
with the
yeah.
flags and
Yeah.
that type
Flags,
of thing, so.
Some did change the street signs.
Street signs, yeah,
We
that's
have,
right.
we have just 2 placards, you know, on the two ends of the district, so.
I know
Now, now, if the board wants to amend the budget like next month or a month after, I can calculate, you know, how much that will be, and we can just set that aside as we get money from the sales tax and the other general funds to do that.
I seem to remember that was through CDBG money, so I think that's separate from the budget.
Okay.
If I may, we did have a neighborhood enhancement program that initially was funded through recovery of items from the mall, prior owners of the mall when all of that was going on. That has slowly dwindled, and now it's not budgeted any longer. So,
That's where it came from.
yeah, all the things that were done in the past came out of that fund, but there's no money there. So as Andre said, however they'll work it out, it'll certainly be covered, but we don't have that existing fund anymore.
Yeah, I would think that would be down the line anyways. You've got some other things to do versus thinking about a, you know, placard or,
Oh, yeah.
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 Setting up your board and bylaws and, yeah.
All right, any more questions?
definitely one of your first meetings, schedule a second meeting and get an executive committee, like, sort of formulate.
Yeah, I guess the one thing we're not quite clear on yet is the neighborhood associations can take on all kinds of forms. It can be
Right.
as informal as just Facebook all the way up to kind of the things we're describing. So it remains to be seen exactly, I think, depending on how many people are involved and how invested they want to be, as to whether or not we'll go almost, you know, to the full formality of what some of the neighborhood associations are doing. So I guess to be clear, we're not committing necessarily at
Right.
this point to a full neighborhood association in that sense, but that'd be great if we can get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great. Thank you for taking that on. You may find that it's such a huge area, you may need to, but that's, you know, you'll figure that all out.
Yeah, no, I'm confident that we will. I think, you know, we've already shown through the Facebook group to have a certain level of interest and passion, and I look to continue to grow that through the mailing and otherwise.
Yeah, certainly, you know, during, that Facebook page is really important. It's really helped us during times of, you know, with that freak ice, snowstorm, windstorm that we had, just to check on people and, but yeah, just keeping people connected, it's very important.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you all very much.
All right. And I don't think we have any more presentations for tonight. All right, okay, sir, step up.
Hi, my name is Travis Clinton. I'm an engineer for Stantec. My address is 11 Heatherwood Drive in Fairport. We were going to present to you the Avangrid Station 51 upgrade project. And if it sounds familiar to anyone, this project came before the board and received approval in 2023. This is a rendering that we put. It's up at 40 Topper Drive, right next to Seabreeze. So the Jackrabbit's kind of over here. And it includes the replacement and upgrade to the transformer, new switchgear, and a new control house for the switchgear. Received approval in 2023. Unfortunately, the one-year deadline to obtain a building permit expired. So we're bringing it back to you and also the zoning board next month for a couple variances. So,
Okay, any questions from the board? I think you're also doing fencing, correct?
we are, yes. So the variance in the fencing that we're going to go for, this section of fence back here was increased to 15 feet high, and that was to stop access from the roof next door, because these things have to be really, really secure. So that'll be one variance that we're asking for, and the remainder of the fence will be 8-foot chain link, and then there's some black decorative fence also along the frontage. And another variance that we're going after is the rear setback variance too, but that'll be with the zoning board.
And the purpose of that grid is to actually to increase capacity?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's a needed upgrade.
So while you're upgrading, what does that do to, why it's the upgrade's going on? How long's about this project gonna take to upgrade?
They typically take, see, I'm working on one out in Greece, and it takes about a year.
Okay.
It takes about a year to
Takes
get,
some time.
and then they have to, they have to switch it over.
Okay,
So,
right, all right.
yeah.
Any more questions? Thanks very much.
Thank you.
All right. And I think that ends our presentation period. Any more presentations? All right. Before we move on here, I'm going to probably do a small presentation on something that just came up about a few hours ago. And there's nowhere to put this in anywhere, so I want to explore with the HR director some of our policy changes that will allow workers to transfer their sick time. We've had some workers that have had cancer or other debilitating illnesses that go beyond their sick time, but we don't have a policy to address, can we donate sick time to an individual? So I'll be doing that with HR director, and hopefully in a few weeks coming back to the board after meeting with legal and all the parties that be to address that issue. Okay? All right. Now we'll move into department head updates. Mr. Director.
Thank you. Currently, we are just moving in, continuing the cloud migration and working at the PD. It's the biggest lift and probably will take the longest to get them moved over.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Director? Okay. Madam Commissioner?
Yes, thank you. Just a reminder, we are in our winter parking ordinance timeframe, so please, any chance you get, please help remind people to obey the winter parking ordinance. We have had a few successful salt runs, and we're 100% ready to go for any snow that would head our way at this point. With projects, we continue to progress down at Camp Eastman, and the backyard project, I would say, is about 98% complete for this phase, and then we'll look to see as we continue toward our master plan for next year what that looks like. The Bellhurst pump station is also underway, still under construction, and other than that, we're just working on closing out the year and getting ready for our next year projects.
Thank you. Any questions for Madam Commissioner?
I have a question. Aaron, who's fielding the complaints about the winter parking, if there is any? I mean, what's the process if there's an issue in your neighborhood or whatever, and someone won't comply to the regulation of the parking restrictions? Where are the complaints, where are they gonna field it from, do you know?
Can you hear me? Yeah. I would say it's a partnership between us and the police department.
Okay.
So if they call either one of us, we would
Okay.
work collaboratively to address that.
All right.
Yeah. If our plow drivers are out and they see someone in the road, yeah, we're going to
Sure.
do the best thing between the two of our departments to get them out of the way.
Okay, thank you, yeah.
Of course.
Mr. Supervisor, can we pulse out the ordinance, at least on
Right.
Facebook? Because I don't know that I've seen that. I know November 1st is the date, but not everyone would. I would think it would help
That's a
just
great
to
idea.
periodically,
Okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and thank you for the salting. I'm out early and I've seen the trucks out, so thank you to your staff.
No problem, appreciate it.
Mr. Director?
Yes, thank you. Our department has been working pretty diligently with a number of large projects. We recently assisted the developer in resuming construction at the site of the former Newport House. Building permits have been issued, construction has resumed. We anticipate anywhere between 3 and 9 new single-family townhomes coming online by this time next year. I wrote this a couple days ago. We anticipate the opening of the Boulevard Grill that has opened at 411 Empire Boulevard, as well as the opening of Aladdin's Burgers and Shakes in the vacant Tim Hortons on Hudson Avenue later this month. Those are two properties that have been vacant for a number of years, so we're pretty happy to see those now occupied and have successful businesses in them. We're working with an applicant to bring forward a proposal to build a new construction medical office on Culver Road. That should start to see planning board movement pretty soon. We continue to work with developers to bring the Starbucks proposal at Culver and Eastridge to fruition. This would remove the vacant Abbott's, which has been vacant for nearly 10 years. So we're hoping to see that continue to move forward here. We are also working with developers in continued renovation of the former Regal Theater. A lot of construction going on there at this point between the 3 occupant spaces that will be occupied about this time next year. And then something a little unusual for our department, but we're excited to be a part of it, partnering with DPW Recreation and the police department to help facilitate some of the special events that have been talked about recently at the town board level.
Great. Any questions for Mr. Director? Thank you. Madam Deputy?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Human Resources is still working on a new payroll system. We're running parallel payrolls right now. We are processing open enrollments for all the current employees and transferring the retirees to a new provider this year, as well as filling vacancies.
Thank you. Any questions for Madam Director? Thank you. Madam Director?
Hi, good evening. The Recreation Department has had a lot of successful events and programs over at the Community Center and at the Market Building. We've had a successful holiday market and tree and menorah lighting recently. Our ongoing winter market is Thursdays from 4 to 7 p.m. Winterfest, save the date. We will be having our annual Winterfest on February 8th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then our winter and spring activity guide, Eye on Arundecoit, will be hitting, the hard copies will be hitting the community center and other town buildings early next week. It is currently available online, and all programs are open for registration online. So we have a lot to be offered this winter and spring. Thank you.
The tree lighting was a great time. Thanks. You guys did a great job. And that winter market was also great. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a nice event. Thank you for that. I did see a question. Someone was asking if the skate rink is going to happen this year. I don't know if anyone knows.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Chief?
Yes, sir. We are just finishing up, actually just finished up our fall-in service with the officers. That was time-consuming because we have to use a range with another municipality, so a little bit of drive time there, but we got it done successfully. We had our cops for the community cupboard event a few weeks ago. We took donations of food items and clothing items, and our yearly, it's our second annual one where we actually had all the emergency vehicles out here in front of the headquarters, and spent a couple hours out there, let the kids come and climb on the vehicles, get some pictures, and took donations. We had a great Girl Scout troop from Webster also was there, so they helped out immensely, and it was a good cause. So we were able to take all those up to the community cupboard on last Tuesday, and definitely helped out for right around the holidays. Last week we had our Shop of the Cop up at Target, so thanks to generous donations from the Rotary and Target themselves, they provided about $150 for each kid to go out and spend for themselves, on their family members, and actually have a nice, just a nice day to actually buy some presents that they might not have been able to do that for the holiday season. So it's a great event. I think at one point when we first got there, we had so much participation from our department. We had more cops than we actually had kids, so it was a nice problem to have. But the Target Target employees were wonderful. They were obviously facilitating all the shopping, and they did all the wrapping of the gifts afterwards for the kids. And at the parents, obviously they're in good hands with our officers, so parents could go and actually have about an hour and a half just break and let the kids go do what they want to do. And then obviously I have to thank Amico's Pizza. They donated a pizza to the kids afterwards, so it was a good time for us to get out there and meet some of the kids and just have a good time. So obviously they've been doing it for many years, and it's something we look forward to. So right now we're just getting ready for end of the year, closing out budget lines, doing all that stuff, and then getting ready for what the new year is going to bring us.
I was very pleased with how the kids bonded with the officers. So thank you, and also had the opportunity. I think one of the wonderful things about being in Irondequoit is the community service. Had an opportunity to go over with the chief of staff. So we got the community cupboard, got a tour there, and just the wonderful volunteers there. So thank you very much. Community cupboard, Sunset House, Uplift. I think we have some great organizations that do a great job of reaching out and helping others, the meeting of community. So thanks a lot for being part of that.
Absolutely.
Any questions for the chief? Madam Clerk?
So in the clerk's office, we're just getting ready for the tax season, the town and county. The bills will go out December 30th, and we'll start collecting January 2nd. Also, Seabreeze water bills will be going out January 2nd, so we expect to be busy with that as well. And passports have increased tremendously, so if you do need a passport, make sure you call to make an appointment.
Any questions for Madam Clerk? Mr. Deputy?
So first off, Diana sends her best from somewhere sunny and warm. I'm not quite sure where she's cruising at the moment. Pretty much business as usual within our office. Getting ready for our annual audit, which will take place next year, obviously. But they're starting preliminary audit work this week, so we'll be sending stuff back and forth as they requested to the auditors. We just had a successful ban renewal for our December issuance. Rate was 3.14%. And again, that renews a lot of our outstanding project monies that we have to do every year. Andre mentioned that we had a successful Moody's review again and maintained our credit rating. And you'll also see a resolution for us bringing in a new person. Cody has moved into Ellen's position now that she finally has left the office, and this will backfill behind Cody's position.
He has huge shoes to fill.
Pardon?
Cody has huge shoes to fill.
Yes, yes.
Any questions for the controller? Mr. Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'm happy to report on the issue of litigation and risk management that at this point we have closed all litigation matters except for tax certiorari cases. Some of these cases that have been open for a while dragged on at considerable expense to the town. That was addressed in the last budget go-round. I'm happy to have taken a position that we should not be in that situation looking into 2025. I will be working with the assessor, who is not here tonight, but I will be working with him to try to wrap up some of the tax cert cases. Aggressively closing out litigated matters will save the town considerably. I've looked at the past several years of the town's handling of these matters, and I believe that we can save considerably by taking an aggressive posture and heading off cases and aggressively moving to close them up, close them out. Other than that, I've been working closely with all departments to address legal issues, including day-to-day matters, procurement, which is another area that I do think the town would be wise to address more pointedly and in greater depth than perhaps has been the case in the past. And also, we are addressing non-routine matters that come up on a fairly regular basis. In short, our legal house is in order.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate all the help and wisdom you brought to that. And on procurement, just for the town board information, the attorney's office is putting together a packet for best procurement practices, and then we will take that to you later for your review, and then hopefully we can have something in the short term about a way forward to make the process more transparent and hopefully more competitive. That will drive down hopefully all procurement costs. We have started consolidating some things in the controller's office, some of the purchases, and Cody's been great stepping into that role to look at how we can consolidate some of the purchases to save us costs. So, any further questions for Mr. Attorney? Mr. Controller, I think we have a financial report.
Unfortunately, we do not.
Okay.
Diana had advised, I think all of you, that she wasn't going to be able to have it done before she left, but she will have it ready for the actual town board meeting next week.
Thank you. I had a note on that, and I totally forgot. All right. We have a couple items to review for our December 17th meeting. Madam Clerk, can you read the first item?
Item number 1, authorizing the provisional appointment of an office clerk, account clerk.
May I have an explanation?
Due to retirement, this was to fill the office account clerk in the comptroller's office. Due to the retirement, the list was deemed non-mandatory. We posted it, and the interview committee had suggested we hire Timothy Broderick for the position.
Any questions or comments? Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 2, authorizing the permanent appointment of a police sergeant.
Sorry.
There's 2 packets.
I think the question is, do we have, one second.
So, I mean, if you have it,
Let me make sure.
Yeah, he's not a kid. He worked for the county. Yes. He says his,
How old is he about? I mean,
I would guess, 50s.
About 6, 8 years ago.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he's freaking smashed right now. What a story that is. So I wonder if it's his son.
Yeah, this guy's worked for the county. He's supposedly eliminated his
Okay.
job.
So he's ordered for $18 an hour.
I don't know, something.
Yeah, I know, right?
We'll see.
Okay, Madam Clerk, read the next item.
Item number 2, authorizing the permanent appointment of a police sergeant.
Chief?
Yes, sir. We have spots for 6 sergeants in our department. We've only had 5. We went through, we had the civil service testing, went through in the middle of the year, and then we went through a selection process, which included going through and canvassing the list, and then also conducting interviews and practical exercises that first-line supervisor would be expected to complete. After that, selection process, very tough, probably one of the hardest ones we've had so far. We selected Officer Matthew Barrett to be the next sergeant for our department.
Thank you. Any questions with the chief? So Matthew, congratulations. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 3, authorizing the appointment of a senior motor equipment operator.
May I have an explanation?
I can do it, yeah. There is a need to appoint a senior MEO in Department of Public Works. It's a non-competitive civil service position. All the applications are up with the commissioner right now, and they're going to make a decision by next week.
Thank you. Any questions? Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 4, authorizing the appointment of a motor equipment operator.
May I have an explanation?
Same thing for budget. In the budget, there's room for an MEO, and we have posted it. The applications have been sent up to the commissioner, and they are right now doing interviews, so we should have a decision next week.
Thank you. Any questions? Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 5, authorizing the appointment of an ethics board member.
Okay, we have an opportunity to coming to the end of terms for the Ethics Board. We have a lawyer, Mr. Dice. Attorney Dice is a well-respected lawyer and a member of the Irondequoit community. You'll also be charged with reviewing our ethics code and also training for each of our department. So I recommend him highly to the Ethics Board as we build. The second thing is, as our town code calls for, usually the assistant to the supervisor serves on the Ethics Board, and with that, Kimberly Miranda will be replacing the former chief on the Ethics Board as that term has come to the end, and we've written it for a term and also related to the next town supervisor, wherever that may be coming in. Any questions? Next item.
Item number 6, reappointing a planning board member.
Have an explanation?
Yes, sir, thank you. This is in regards to a term expiring on the planning board. Mr. Nate Burdick, has served on the board since April of 2022. He came in fulfilling an open vacancy. He has expressed an interest in being reappointed for the 7-year term. He has been a great asset to the planning board with his experience and knowledge in the construction field. So we would recommend to the town board for his reappointment as a 7-year term planning board member.
I've served with Nate on the planning board, and he's a very, very knowledgeable and tough individual. I'm glad that he chose to continue to serve. Any questions? Next item.
Item number 7, filling a conservation board vacancy.
May I have an explanation?
Yes, sir. This is in regards to, we have 2 member positions open on the Conservation Board available currently. We received a letter of interest with a resume from a Irondequoit resident, Patrick Levy. Town staff conducted an interview with Mr. Levy and would recommend the appointment of Patrick Levy to the Irondequoit Conservation Board for a 2-year term.
Any questions? Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 8, filling a Conservation Board vacancy.
May I have an explanation?
As previously explained, there's still open spots on the Arundequoit Conservation Board. We received the letter of interest from Alexandra Ferrante. Staff conducted an interview with Mrs. Ferrante and recommends the appointment of Alex to the Arundequoit Conservation Board for a 2-year term.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
How many more vacancies does that leave?
1.
So anyone listening that might be interested can solicit that position with you.
I have a couple candidates that we're working on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk?
Item number 9, authorizing the appointment of Zoning Board of Appeals member.
Thank you. This is in regards to a term that had expired. Mr. Ryan Trevis had served 7+ years on the Arundequoit Zoning Board and has decided not to re-up his spot. So the normal process is we offer that position to the alternate member, which is Mr. Greg Devlin. He currently serves on the Zoning Board of Appeals as our alternate member, and we would like to recommend his appointment as the permanent member for a 7-year term.
Thank you. Any questions? And Ryan is also a great community servant. So thanks, Ryan, for all your service.
Absolutely.
Next item, please.
Item number 10, authorizing the Item number 10, authorizing the reappointment of a Zoning Board of Appeals chairman.
Explanation, please.
You're going to be tired of hearing my voice.
I am.
This is in regards to our existing chairman, Mr. James. Everybody knows Mr. James Henman. He's been our chair for the Arundequoit Zoning Board for since 2007, I believe. And he expressed interest in being reappointed for another 2-year term as chair.
Any questions? Thank you very much.
He does an excellent job too.
He does. He's I've learned so much from him actually on zoning.
Same.
Madam Clerk?
Item number 11, authorizing the appointment of Deer Management Program board members.
May I have an explanation?
Yes, sir. Thank you. This is in regards to our Deer Management Program Board, which consists of 3 members. One is appointed as the town supervisor or his designee and a town resident, and the third is the chairman of the Conservation Board, which is now Daniel David. But we need to reappoint the supervisor's designee and the town resident, who both have expressed interest as Cody Dismang and Gwendolyn Mendez as the town resident to serve on the Deer Management Program Board for a term of 1 year.
Thank you. Any questions?
No, just a comment. Overall, thank you to all of these community members for stepping forward to serve our town. There are lots of ways to become involved, and these are exceptionally important ways, so thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Item number 12, authorizing the use of fund balance and the purchase of 177 Kings Highway.
May I have an explanation? Okay, I'll go.
It's coming here since it came from the controller's
Okay.
office. So as it states, it's proposed to purchase 177 Kings Highway, which is the house existing between our recreation fields there, for the assessed value of $202,000 for purpose of creating a parking lot, and the funds will be made available from general fund balance to pay for it.
Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Allocating American Rescue Plan Act funding for backyard playground area.
May I have an explanation?
There we go. This resolution, this is to fund start to fund the playground that we are looking to do in the backyard project. We are also soliciting grant funding for this, but this would start the process of our commitment to the inclusive playground we're looking to put out back that was shown in the master plan.
And just to be clear too for the board, we are using the residual ARPA funding, and we have ongoing meetings to look at grants from state and federal sources to finish off the backyard plan.
So somewhere this money here, the total is gonna be, if we match it, it's gonna be 800,000?
Oh, approximately there.
I'd like to see a $800,000 playground, though. I'd like to see do we have a rendering on an $800,000 playground?
Yes, that's
I'd like
around.
to see what it looks like.
Yeah, that's quite a playground.
It is quite a playground.
Sounds
It's
it.
totally inclusive. So I think that we need to take that into account, that this is going to enable our residents to be able to take part in a recreational opportunity that they are not able to in any other park in this area. So I think that I understand the concern, but this is something really, really unique and I think exciting for
Well, I believe that, but
Aurora.
we haven't seen anything.
No, I understand
That's
it.
all. I'd like to see what an $800,000 playground consists of, that's
Oh,
all.
no problem. I think when we have the concept,
Yeah, absolutely. We can share a rendering, but it would be one of the first in the area. I mean, we've done other inclusive playgrounds, but this playground would
Be barrier-free.
It would have features that no one else does right now. And so for a full experience for everyone of any ability.
and to see and to show why we're doing a playground first is that both the rec center and the parks, and as well as economic development, the residents have all come back and said this is the one most important thing to them, which fits into our comprehensive plan, which fits into everything else. So it just simply goes along with that. So that's what we're going to focus on first.
All right, so I'm assuming there's been a budget here for this, right?
Yep.
Okay, and that's what you need for this?
We see the cost breakdown
Yeah, I'd
for the
like to
budget
see
as
what
well
it
as
looks
the
like,
the
that's
rendered
all.
elements, as well as
Yeah.
where the location.
Absolutely.
And I would like to see all of that before
Yeah.
we vote on this,
Absolutely. I'll get it to you tomorrow.
please.
Yes.
And my apologies, I thought you guys already seen it, so.
First I seen it was when I saw this.
Okay,
so.
all right. So we'll get that to you tomorrow. Madam Clerk.
Item number 14, allocating American Rescue Plan Act funding for additional front step grant funding.
And I would take this one. As you know, that the former board and town supervisor did something really cool, which was the Front Step program. So which helped out a lot of senior, older adults in the community. So it's just simply adding on to that program so that we can get the older adults who are on the waiting list and fund them. So it's just simply continuing the success of the last board and moving forward for this one. Any questions? Madam Clerk.
Item number 15, allocating American Rescue Plan Act funding for software to be used by the Department of Development Services.
May I have an explanation?
My apologies, I didn't know I was part of this part. This one is really kind of the last rollout software upgrades. It consists of community development for code and compliance. It's modernizing that particular system that has certain deficiencies. Particularly, we cannot integrate it with the assessment program. So any changes made by the community development are overwritten if we try to sync those two databases, along with allowing the folks in the field to have greater visibility and just be able to respond quicker. So it'll be completely an online system.
And this would save both time and increase worker capacity, correct?
Yeah, I mean, the goal here would be to allow people to do online payments. I'm almost kind of envisioning being able to schedule maybe permit applications online and having, that be done so they don't have to come into the town hall as often. And also, a big thing is having a better way to track code and compliance issues.
Any questions? Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Item number 16, allocating American Rescue Plan Act funding for Town Hall project room updates.
May I have an explanation?
I didn't know I was part of so much stuff. The project room, as you can have witnessed, a lot of times there's a lot of audio issues. In particular, there's an HVAC system with a hum above us, and how the audio was broken up with the controller down here and the folks downstairs that are currently controlling the system. So when we do have audio problems up here, they don't have control of them. They have to come up here to adjust that, along with there's a lot of breakages, like where Diana usually sits, we have to actually run the cable out front to plug it in. So it would be to correct a lot of those issues. Speakers are an issue too. Why you guys get feedback is because there's speakers pointed in the wrong direction, and if we turn it up too loud and you can hear people talk, you get feedback. So we have to keep it at a volume where it's difficult for people to hear. So this would be to correct all that.
Thank you. Any questions?
Do you know the last time work has been done on the audio system in here?
Long before I got here, or 90s maybe.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk?
Item number 17, allocating American Rescue Plan Act funding for Town Hall directory sign upgrades.
May I have an explanation? Okay, I'll take that one. As you know, some of the signs on the wall are falling down and ripping apart, and I think it was since the 90s that there are. So it's replace those signs, update them, put the right names on them, and make it more better, as they will say, in my part of the woods. All right. Any other questions? Madam Clerk.
Item number 18, allocating American Rescue Plan Act funding for farmers market signage.
Okay, I would take that one. Madam Commissioner? Okay, I can take it if you want. Okay.
This would be for the signage within our farmer's market shed. This would primarily be for a sign out viewing to the street, backlit sign. One of the feedback that we've heard with the recreation department as far as public input is that they're looking for better marking to mark the building so they know where they're going every Thursday night through the winter, so that's what this project would do.
And what I want to add on to this is that in meeting with the staff, we're going to do a renaming of the market to honor a local hero, fireman, and their family who have been in Irondequoit for almost 100 years. So then market will, I'm not going to break it out tonight, but we'll be renaming that market, and so that's what the sign will do. Madam Clerk?
Item number 19, allocating American Rescue Plan Act funding for upgrades to passport services. So this would allow us to upgrade the area that we currently use for passports, cameras, as well as the backdrop to better service our residents.
Any questions? And for the next item,
Item number 20, allocating American Rescue Plan Act funding for youth summer reading program.
I'm going to ask Mr. Benoit to approach. And for purposes of those listening at home, Very often we have ideas that doesn't fit the timing of when the resolutions have to be posted. So we have been working for a while on how we're going to spend the ARPA money. We've had several focus groups with staff and also residents and nonprofit organizations. So I apologize we couldn't get this all the way in. But this, I'll turn over to Ms. Benoit to talk through the program, and we'll be amending the name of this resolution because it will incorporate older adults, young children, and people of all ages in an integrated process across multiple departments. And with that, Mr. Benoit.
All right, thank you. I'm Greg Benoit. I'm the library director. The Arundecoit Library is seeking ARPA funds to offset the costs associated with 4 programming initiatives designed to address the health, wellness, and education needs of families and seniors living in Arundecoit. The major component to this is the summer reading program, which would have us distribute a free book to every single elementary school child living in Arundecoit or enrolled in a school in Arundecoit. This would be done in partnership with the public school districts and all of the private schools located here in Arundecoit. But we also have programming initiatives to help people of other age groups, including seniors and adults and teenagers. Many of these programs will be operated in partnership with trusted community partners that include Arundecoit Recreation, Gloria Hunter from the Town Hall, both of the school districts, the Arundecoit Historical Society, the Arundecoit Art Club, and the Brooklyn Robot Foundry and Code Ninjas, which is a coding organization that targets programs for kids. So you have a proposal that explains each of these components in detail, but some of the ones that I'm excited about, in addition to the summer reading program, are the programs that we have relating to STEM education. We have a robotics program that we would like to run over the next 2 years, a coding program for children and tweens. We also have an education series for adults and seniors that will help prevent any sort of scams or other malfeasance involving technology for our seniors. And then we also have a Memorial Film Festival that is named in honor of a former employee of the Department of Public Works who passed away the other year. So I'll be happy to answer any questions you have about the proposal, to give you an opportunity to read them in full. You can reach out to me at the library. The phone number and email are on the document here, but I'm sure you all have my email in your sent folder somewhere.
And now we've allocated $100,000 for this, all the programs. And I'd like to keep it at that level to account for any overages or any things that may want. But for right now, for today, our great director has put together a budget of $92,516, so that extra money would be just in case anything goes over the amount. So the total fund would be $100,000.
And this would sustain these programs for two years.
I'm all over this. I love it. This is exactly what the ARPA funds were designed for. And I love the partnership between the town and our schools. And also, because I live in that realm, older adults and certainly the scams and technology, I just think this is wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
I'm sorry. I'm glad to hear that the duration is 2 years, but I see like the Joe Black Film Festival under the schedule of values only says number 1, and then the community garden supplies is, I mean, I can understand this being 1, but
Yes, so the community garden, that would be funding to get it up and running, and then it would be maintained by volunteers that the Recreation Department would help coordinate. The Joe Black Film Festival, we need some funds to buy equipment that we can use year after year, and will actually be available on an ongoing basis through our Makers Lab. So in terms of staff time, we will do that on an ongoing basis, but the big upfront cost is to get the equipment in year one.
Awesome, thank you.
Madam Clerk.
Item number 21, allocating American Rescue Plan Act funding for child care services.
Okay, now I'll take this one. So one of the things that we looked at for the need for the community, and this addresses the broader community, is that we lost a lot of child care services in Irondequoit. And we cannot, because of town law, provide direct money to a facility to exist or continue to exist or to pay for. So the idea would be working in partnership with the Child Advocacy Center, who I recommend, who has the ability to track, monitor, and verify a fund that will pay directly to the institution that the child is being taken care of, $250 to $500 per household for a family, and we'll work with them to verify that the child exists, the child is in, that the agency exists. And those numbers were picked because there's a national survey that says that for families who are middle class and below, they can't withstand a $500 a month emergency. So we figured that we would take $150,000 of ARPA money, which will help between 300 to 600 families, depending on how much money they ask for, and that'll be a direct help to the families in Irondequoit.
So there's, how many families, you say 300 to 600?
It'll be 300 at $500.
Okay.
But if a family requests for $250, we'll give them that option also.
So how long is so they'll get $500 a month?
No, one time.
A one-time thing.
One time.
So that's 600, all right, 300 and then 600, so it's quite a bit. So that, it depends on how they, this child advocacy center's they're gonna monitor all this.
They'll
And then
monitor.
We'll get some reporting on this too?
Correct.
It'll come back to us as well too.
Correct, and we're working out the details now. We have meetings scheduled to work out the details, to finalize the legality and make sure that what we think will happen, and I'll bring that report back to you.
So if we have all this, if we have this money in 1 month, it could be all gone,
Correct.
right? One time, right?
One time.
With that many families, so one-time thing, they each get, I'm just throwing a number out there, $500, and then, so it's a one-time thing.
It's a one-time shot. And it's just to give a little standoff to our families that are struggling. And hopefully that standoff will get more people back to work.
How is this going to be communicated to families?
We're going to do a number of public service announcements, social media, and also we'll be using the media to communicate these initiatives out through their public engagement. So I need your help to talk to the media about it, and it's not just about my face, to get this word out of the work that we're doing. I think it's pretty innovative thing that we're doing now. I don't think any other towns are doing it, so we should get some media coverage on this also.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, I don't know if we can do a targeted mailing, just to make sure that families know about it. Not everyone's on social media, not everyone has technology, so I just want to make sure that people know about it.
Yeah, I think the targeted mailing is that the costs for Irondequoit is pretty expensive. So, which is why we're hand delivering the recreation booklet. So when you look at the cost of this, it's pretty enormous. So I'd rather use as many other sources as possible versus.
No, I understand that. It doesn't need to go out to every every household in Arundecoit, but we can get that information on families, households with children. So.
Okay, I'd be glad to work with the board
Yeah.
to do that
Right.
in any way possible.
Just-
Get the information to the school district.
Right. Also, Brother Supervisor, let me understand this. This is for Arundecoit residents?
Arundecoit residents only, and we looked at doing Arundecoit childcare only,
Right.
but you may work in a city,
Okay.
and so what we figure we're doing the residents, and it doesn't really matter where
Okay.
they keep their child, because if you work in Brighton and your childcare is in Brighton, then
Okay.
it's helping the
Question.
residents only.
Okay.
You have to have a permanent resident in Arundecoit, have proof of residency in Arundecoit.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Controller.
Item number 22, authorizing the use of fund balance for independent review.
And we spoke about this several months ago, and what this is having an organization look at the town to find out three things. Are we structured correctly, or can we be structured more efficiently? I'm sorry.
The independent review.
Okay, never mind. Any questions on that? Okay, next item.
Item number 23, authorizing the supervisor to enter into a contract to lease multifunction printers from United Business Systems.
Mr. Director.
Thank you. This is to replace the fleet of copiers and printers town-wide. We've kind of held off and did the entire fleet, and that helps save us about $1,000 a month in leasing. But it went out to RFP. Because the town is a Canon-only shop, there are two authorized local Canon dealers that that participated in it, and we went with the low bidder.
Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Item number 24, declaring certain equipment surplus property.
May I have an explanation?
Yep, this is to just dispose of certain technology as it becomes obsolete, breaks, and as the extensive refit that we've done, we have pulled out quite a bit of old equipment that's in excess of 20 years old. So we're just looking to send that off to recycling.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, any questions? Madam Clerk?
Item number 25, authorizing the grant application for the Local Government Records Management Improvement Fund grant.
May I have an explanation?
Yes, and this resolution is in tandem with the following resolution. This is an effort to digitize the town's paper infrastructure. We're going after a state grant that we can get up to about $70,000 to scan in all our paper, and we have a lot of it, both in the attic, police department, just spread throughout the town. It's never been done. So we're just looking to kind of modernize that and move it to where it's more accessible and just get off paper. And the second one is to get the grant, we have to have a records manager, and that would be the clerk.
Thank you. Any questions?
So how does the grant work? I mean, the grant is for someone to mechanically do it, or is it for software to inventory it after someone in town staff?
So there would be software, so there's ongoing carryover costs. We'll use Laserfiche to house the records once they're scanned in. We do need, obviously, someone to come in and physically take the documents that will be scanned. That's a NICEAG vendor. It's per the grant, you can only pick from a certain pool of vendors, and we've interviewed a few. Once we get closer, and if we get the grant, that'll be kind of the next step we bring to you and say, hey, that these are the people we feel that can do the best. But yes, scanning is probably the most important part, because if you don't have a proper index, you'll never be able to find anything.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk?
Item number 26, authorizing the appointment of a records management officer pursuant to the requirements of the grant application for the Local Government Records Management Improvement Fund.
And I think that's been answered already, right? Okay, Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 27, authorizing the acceptance of a monetary gift from Donna DePeters to the Arundecoit Police Department.
Chief?
Yes, sir. This actually came as a surprise to us also. Their residents live up on Rock Beach Road, and she, as the Peters family has been, they've usually donated, I think, through the Nightstick and Nightstick Club each year, and this year she sent us a check and said, something I want to do for your community engagement every year. So I went up and talked to her, thanked her, and put in the resolution through.
Thank you. Any questions? Again, I think that we have wonderful residents, and please convey our thank you for the support, especially to law enforcement. I think being tangentially from the community, I think it's important for everyone to remember how important it is to all of us. Madam Clerk.
Item number 28, authorizing the supervisor to enter into contracts and accepting funding for the DWI programs.
Chief?
Yes, sir. This is just our normal course of business each year, accepting the STEP DWI monies through Monroe County. And obviously, we'll sign those contracts and be reimbursed for our efforts for the year.
Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Item number 29, authorizing attendance to the Glock Professional Training Course in Camillus, New York.
Chief?
Yes, sir. That's for, this is actually going to be happening in the spring. It's to send our armors to a course to make sure that their certifications are up to date so that we can operate or actually repair or do anything else that we need to our service weapons.
Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Item number 30, awarding a bid for refuse services for Town of Arundecoit facilities.
May I have an explanation?
Yes, this is our, the contract for picking up garbage and recycling at our various town facilities throughout town. And we're opening the bid this week, so we will have the name of the vendor to you by the end of the week.
Thank you. Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Item number 31, authorizing the supervisor to sign calculation worksheet for New York State Snow and Ice 2024-2025 season.
May I have an explanation?
Thank you. This is an annual resolution for our snow and ice agreement. This is for New York State Snow and Ice, so this is for the snow maintenance on Empire Boulevard. That's the one town, state road that we do in this town. So I don't know if you looked at the calculation sheet, but this is based on a 3-year average, so there is a slight decrease that we will be collecting because of the 3-year average on snow and ice removal.
Thank you. Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Item number 32, authorizing the supervisor to execute an agreement for Monroe County all seasons work in Monroe County right-of-ways.
May I have an explanation?
Sure, this is what we call the Mars Agreement. This is also an annual resolution for roadside mowing and other services we do on county right-of-way.
Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Item number 33, authorizing the supervisor to execute agreement for Monroe County Snow and Ice Control Services for 2024-2025 season.
May I have an explanation?
Last one, this is for Monroe County Snow and Ice. So this is the various lane miles and snow and ice removal we do on the various county roads throughout town. They also use a 3-year average as well as the taking into account the equipment rates. And so this one also is a slight decrease from what we've seen in years past.
Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Item number 34, authorizing the supervisor to enter into various contracts with vendors for youth, family, adult, group exercise, and senior recreational programming for 2025.
Madam Deputy?
Hi, good evening. This allows the supervisor to execute contracts for any of our program vendors, including group exercise for 2025. And an updated copy of the reso was distributed to you before the workshop today.
Thank you. Any questions?
I have one. I was looking at some of the rate of pay, and it kind of varies, and including some of the percentage fees from 60 to 70 to 80% of fees. And I was just wondering why, some are higher and some are lower. And you may, I don't know if you could answer this, or Shannon may be better to answer this in the future, but maybe we could get that before the next meeting if you can't answer it tonight.
Absolutely. So a lot of factors go into place when we look at the rate of pay for our instructors. It could be background certifications, the type of programming or specialty that they're offering, their longevity with our department, and different supplies that they may need.
And who makes those decisions?
That goes with our programming staff, our director, and myself. We look at that with our instructors.
I find the same thing at work because I have contractors too that come in and do exercise. That's, a lot of that is based on the instructor themselves, as far as, what this is their business. So it is really person dependent.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk?
Item number 35, approving the 2025 organizational workshop and regular town board meeting dates.
Explanation?
So this schedule would be for the year of 2025. We just need approval so it can be posted.
No, we have two unique pieces, right, as far as...
So yes, in April, the two meetings would fall on the same week. So we did push one back to the 22nd. And I believe also in July, the same thing happens where the second Tuesday or the second Monday is the same week as the third Tuesday. So we push that another week back as well.
Any questions?
Yeah, actually I do. I know that at the beginning of the year, the meeting schedule was changed. So the workshop's on Monday and board meeting is on Tuesday. And I'm wondering, it's been almost a year. I'm wondering how that's working out for staff. It's one less day to prepare for the workshop. And I'm just wondering if it's had any kind of negative impact, not especially since everything needs to be together before the weekend. I'm just curious.
It's been interesting sometimes, but I think we're getting it done. I think there's still a need to have that schedule that we have. Is that correct, Ms. Councilman?
Mm-hmm, correct. Thank you.
So, but we're making it work.
I think, yeah, it's difficult for
As I smile.
all of Town Hall to change. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, it's.
Go ahead. I did have one question. I mean, one of the regular town board meetings is on Earth Day. Does that make a difference?
Cake.
Huh?
Cake.
I don't know if it's any type of,
Well, we do, Madam Commissioner, we do celebrate earlier during the day, right, with the tree planting.
Pardon I can't think right now, but is Earth Day, we celebrate
April
Arbor
22nd.
Day.
Yeah.
But Arbor Day's different. It's later that week, I
Right.
think. So,
I don't know when
so
Arbor Day is. I only
typically
know
we
what Earth Day
celebrate,
is.
typically we get closer to Arbor Day for
okay.
our celebration, yeah.
Okay.
Fine with me. I just noticed.
Madam Clerk, do you have any more items?
Not for review.
Okay. We have 2 items for board action. Madam Clerk, can you read the first item?
Item number 1, resolution authorizing the provisional appointment of a clerk 4 in the clerk's office.
Motion to adopt.
I'll move it.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have an explanation?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The town clerk's office lost an office clerk 4. They resigned a couple of months ago. We had canvassed the certified list from the county, and it was deemed non-mandatory. There were only 2 people that were interested in that position. The position was posted, and the interview committee would like to offer Melissa Rhodes the position. It's a provisional position, and she has to take the test once it becomes available. If the town board approves this, I will meet with her tomorrow for an orientation. So.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none. With that, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Congratulations to Melissa. The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 2, resolution authorizing the appointment of a town historian.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
May I have an explanation? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The
Can you
current
just get a little closer to the microphone,
Oh,
please?
sure.
Thank you.
The current town historian's position, his term ends at the end of the year, and I believe he wishes to step down. Timothy Judd, we would like to appoint Timothy Judd to that position.
And Timothy Judd has been a wonderful addition to the Historian Society. He's always here helping out. He has some great ideas about working with the library and also with the part of the documents management is to put a lot of our historical records into a digital system so we can research and build. But I've enjoyed working with Mr. Judd this last year. I've learned a lot about our town and our community, and also about him, a former teacher, high school teacher, and just an all-around great Arachnoid resident. Any other questions or comments?
Remind me again, is this a part-time or full-time position, or how many?
Part-time.
It's a mandatory position according to town law.
Right. Well, I mean, we just have an hourly rate, but I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm not.
Hours that represent.
There used to be a flat rate totally, but this first time I saw an hourly rate. I mean, I don't know how many.
Yeah, I think it's a flat rate.
So I don't know how many hours we're figuring. It might vary. How many hours a week? Right?
Do we know? Do we even know, or
Should we move to make it a flat rate and we'll make the adjustments?
I don't know what you.
Again, I don't know if it used to be, but, you know.
I would simply say that if this is something that has been in place for a while, then it may be an actual provision in the town code.
Well, I know the town historian is
I mean, with
required of
respect-
every jurisdiction.
Yeah, no, I
right
mean
now,
with respect to pay. So, I mean, that is something that can be easily.
Well, what was the previous historian making?
I don't know the previous historian.
I don't remember either. I don't remember what it was.
I can look it up.
Okay.
So how about if we approve them and then we can adjust this pay later? That'd be,
Well, I just want to make it, first of all, make it
Yeah.
fair, number one, and just, make
I
sure it's the
agree.
same that it's been, but
I mean, I just think it's odd, the $15.50 an hour, unless he's working, set 20 hours, 40 hours, or 15 hours, or 10. I mean, does he
okay.
have to punch the clock, or,
Right.
Mr. Director,
Yeah, right now and historically as well, it has always been paid at 24 hours every pay period. So, 26 times a year, 24 hours. That's the flat rate no matter when they clock in or out. It's at least how we've done it as far
24 hours a week?
as I can see
What are you
back.
saying?
yeah, so it should be actually a flat rate as opposed to.
It's a budgeted rate, and I believe it's outlined in town code that is the expectation is the budgeted amount is how much they're going to get paid regardless.
Okay.
so in reality, it's a fixed
It's a
cost of
it's a fixed-
24 times 1550 every 2 weeks times 20 sick
24.
pay periods or whatever, so,
Right.
I mean, I just feel like this is a little,
Convoluted. We'll rewrite that portion. If we can, how about we approve the historian, and then with the amendment to rewrite reword the portion according to
can we just
policy.
defer it till next meeting, which is next week, and with everything just wrapped up?
Yeah, we
Does
do
it-
that.
Unless there's some urgency to do it now. I mean, I would think.
I mean, Greg, you said was stepping down at the end of the year, right?
So we got, yeah.
So we have a week.
So the
It's-
previous, I'm sorry, the previous resolution was for Gregory Merrick as town historian for a term that will continue through December 31st of 2024. It doesn't give a filled in accordance
think he
with,
got paid.
no.
May not have.
It doesn't say hours,
It's come on the town supervisor budget.
so I believe it would have to have a term as well if it's being appointed.
Yeah, I agree.
I would agree too.
Okay, so let's, you're the town historian, but we'll work on cleaning up the language a little bit and go
Yeah,
from there.
let's do that.
There's no issue with you.
Yeah, no, don't take it personally.
No, I'm not trying to make this personal.
Don't take it
Yeah.
personally.
I can,
Really, what I'm really mostly interested in is
Doing it.
preserving
It's
the
gonna-
town's history.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so my name's Tim Judd. I live at 720 Van Voorhis Avenue. Been in the town since '08. I am a retired teacher from RCSD. Then I went to Hillside. I taught there for a while. My connections, I know personally the Monroe County historian. She actually gets sworn in, actually tomorrow. She gets sworn in. So I've already been in touch with her about trying to bring the historian's office up to date. I have here, that I found just recently, I'd love to show you, but I don't let anybody else touch it. It's your minutes for your very first board meetings. It's 1839, 1840, 1841. It lists where the house was, what was gone in the meeting, who was supposed to take care of what roads in which of the areas of the town. And I found this under a bunch of boxes in a closet. And that's just one example that I wanted to bring a prop to share with you. The history that Pat Wayne and Mud Rust, that they created down there, it's profound. So as a student of history and an archivist, I'm just off the wall. And when Greg Merritt asked me, I'm on the board for the society, and when he met me at a meeting, he said, "Would you come down and look at this?" I looked, and for a historian, access to data is everything. I mean, it's everything. But nobody else in the town can have it. You can't, so I'd like to be, one of my main goals, the first one to fix the historical markers, but then try to get the grants to get this stuff digitized so town residents can see their own history. And, we've got these little pamphlets and stuff that the society gives out, but it's more profound than that. I mean, you have some things that people should really be able to take a look at. So that's my goal. I'm a history guy. That's really what I'm mostly interested in, and making sure that everybody else in the community has access to that room and can go through it and can look things up. The guy that just wrote a book on Durand Eastman, you heard from him, I've spoken with him. He got a lot of that information and documentation out of our files. I've been in your basement for 2 years, hanging out down there a few days a week. So between there and the Pioneer House and the cobblestone, I've been around a little while. I see what we all have. I'd like to try to preserve it for the posterity.
And is that excitement that I see every time I talk to you, that I'm looking forward for you being our historian?
Yep. I just think the resolution needs a little.
Yeah, just a little
I have
tweaking,
one other
that's
question
all.
while you're here. What is the status of our historic asset research? The consultant that we hired to do the asset, the physical asset research for all of the historic.
I haven't met anyone that's about your assets that.
Well,
that
no,
are
the town, the properties in the town. I mean, we hired the firm out of Buffalo. It was administered by the Historic Preservation
Yeah, that's ongoing right now.
Yeah, and we have the architects did put a book together for us, the society paid for it.
Is it done?
That booklet is done, yes, it's available to the board. It's digitized, and we have a couple paper copies, hard copies. But Ibero did a write-up for us, so we know what we have to do, we know what has to be replaced, what needs to be painted, and how it should be painted, how the mortar should be restored to be historically viable. So there is a booklet on it.
Okay.
And the society paid for that. We wanted it done, so.
Okay, so let's vote on tabling this until next meeting.
As soon as it can be, if it can't be ready for next meeting, then whatever. But, I mean, we have till December, but wait, it's 31st, so next meeting, yes.
Yeah.
Get it next
Time
week.
flies.
Yeah, that's all, just clean it up a little bit.
So all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? So we vote on tabling your appointment officially until our next meeting to clean up the resolution. All right, so this concludes our workshop on December 9th, 2024. Our next scheduled meeting is December 17th at 7 p.m. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
I thought you didn't want to go home. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The meeting is adjourned.